Chapter 25. Call. Lauren sat in the living room dressed in her nightshirt. She had a bowl of cereal in her hands and wasn't paying attention to the lame Saturday morning kids show on the TV. Meatball sat on the cushion beside her, half asleep. She didn't notice James and Kyle sneaking a glance at her through the front window, or hear them creeping in the back door and stripping off their shorts, socks and t-shirts in the hallway outside. She flew half a metre into the air as the boys burst in and bombarded her with balled-up running kit. Her breakfast bowl tipped over as she ducked to avoid James's trainer sock and Kyle's shorts. "Don't do that!" Lauren scolded, standing up and staring at the giant circle of milk soaking into her nightshirt. "You idiots!" James cracked up laughing. Oh, the look on your face was classic. Meatball thought that chasing after flying clothes was a great game and came charging across the floor. But he ran headfirst into a running vest dangling over the arm of the sofa and got his front legs caught up in the neck hole. Kyle laughed as he crouched down and untangled the dog. "You two," Lauren said, folding her arms angrily but smiling at the same time. "I'm trying to have a quiet Saturday morning DOS here. Now I'm soaked." "Ah," James said, putting on a baby voice. "I know my little sister poos can't stay angry at Big Brother James. Come on, giz a kiss." "Don't you dare, James," Lauren snapped, putting her arms out to stop him. "You stink. Of BO." James thought his sister might really blow up if he went through with the kiss, so he backed off and started gathering up the items spread across the floor. "How was the run?" Lauren asked. "Good," Kyle nodded. "We did about 7 Ks, right around the Malaric compound, out through the fields, then we sprinted the last bit, back through the new part of the village. Stuart's trousers are still up in that tree," James added. "You should have come with us," Kyle said. "It's amazing how fast your fitness drops when you're on a mission and you're not training regularly." "Yeah," James nodded. "Believe me, you don't want to get put on an emergency fitness plan when you get back to campus. You know what psychos the instructors are." "I know," Lauren nodded. "But unlike you two skiving gits, I've been at school all week. I reckon I deserve one morning of TV and Cocoa Pops." "Next time?" Kyle asked. "Sure," Lauren nodded. "Oh, Kyle," she added. "I could hear your phone ringing when I was on the loo. You'd better check your messages." "Right, cheers," Kyle said. "You might as well take the first shower, James. I'll see who called." As James grabbed a towel out of the cupboard at the top of the stairs and locked himself in the bathroom, Kyle cut into his bedroom, stepped over James's mess, and grabbed his mobile off the window ledge. He'd missed 2 calls from Tom. He hoped they might be an invite to go see a film or something later on, but as his phone returned the call, something dawned on him. Tom and Viv lived the bachelor lifestyle, partying into the small hours and never surfacing before noon on weekends. "Kyle, baby," Tom said exuberantly. "You must have had a call from our terrorist friends," Kyle said. "How'd you know?" "Your first missed call was at 9:43. You're not usually conscious at that hour, let alone making phone calls." Tom sounded worried. "She gave me instructions, but there's an almighty spanner in the works. Viv took Sophie out to some new vegan restaurant in town. He's been up and down all night with gut ache, and he keeps getting the shivers." "Did you say that to the person who called?" "Yeah, and she chewed my ear off. 'We expect results, not excuses. If you can't work your way around a simple operational difficulty, then our organisation has no use for you.' Then she slammed the phone down." Kyle was relieved that Viv was in no state to come along, but he couldn't say that to Tom. Well, me and James just went out for a run, so we're both in good shape. What else did she say? Not much. You know how cautious they are. The call lasted under a minute. She told us to head up to Rigsworth Services on the M5. We've got to get there by 6 this evening and head into the buffet area. Someone's going to meet us? Kyle asked. She didn't go into details, just told us not to be late. Rigsworth is only an hour's drive, but I reckon we'll give it an extra half hour in case there's traffic. So I'll swing by in Viv's Merce and pick you and James up around 4:30. Tom had only passed his driving test a few months earlier and looked edgy behind the wheel of the Mercedes, which was double the size of his MG. He kept in the slow lane and looked worried every time he had to pull out to overtake a tractor or caravan. It was the first weekend of the school holidays, so half the country was on the move and the service station was hell on earth. Tom circled the car park for 10 minutes looking for a space. Inside, they had to queue up to use the urinals, the restaurant area was jammed, and every kid in the joint seemed to be bawling about something their brother had done or something they hadn't been allowed to buy in the gift shop. In the end, Kyle bought 3 bottles of mineral water from a vending machine, and the boys propped themselves on a tiled ledge by the windows at the back of the food court. James's phone rang at 6 on the dot. "How's it going, youngster?" a female voice asked. She didn't give a name, but it sounded like Joe. "Not bad," James said. "So what are we doing? Is someone meeting us here or what?" "You'll be meeting an old friend, of sorts. Head into the car park, row G, 3 bays from the end. The keys are taped under the wheel arch on the driver's side. You'll find your instructions and all the equipment you need inside the vehicle." The phone went dead. James slid it inside his black tracksuit bottoms as he stood up and led the others outside. They headed into the early evening glare, dodging the traffic circling for a parking spot. "Thar she be, mateys," James said, inexplicably putting on a pirate voice when he spotted the red Volkswagen van. It was the same van he'd ridden in with Kyle 3 days earlier, though the lower half of the bodywork had been sprayed canary yellow, and logos had been stuck along both sides and on the rear doors. Rapid Track, Specialty Courier. James reached under the wheel arch and threw the key at Kyle. Tom looked a little put out. "I thought I was driving." "No offense, gorgeous," Kyle grinned, "but you drive like my grandma." The trio piled into the front of the van. Kyle in the driver's seat, Tom in the middle, and James on the passenger side. James flipped open the glove box, and a mass of papers slid out onto his lap. "Bloody hell," James moaned, as he reached down and picked them all off the vinyl floor. The first thing he came to was a leaflet advertising Rapid Track. Whether it's a human kidney, oversized artwork, or a 6-tier wedding cake, Rapid Track has been delivering the undeliverable for more than 30 years. To emphasize the point, the accompanying picture was of a white-coated doctor vaccinating a baby, while a pretty nurse stood in the background holding a red and yellow Rapid Track package. The next document James came to was a map of Wales. It was folded, but he could see parts of a detailed route that had been marked across it with a highlighter pen. Next, he came to a large envelope with "Read Me" written on it. He peeled back the gummed flap, slid out 4 identical sets of stapled paperwork, and handed one to Kyle and Tom before he started reading. "Hello, boys. Today marks the launch of a new animal rights group. Yours is one of 3 synchronized actions that will be carried out under the banner of the Animal Freedom Army. This document gives you all the details you need to carry out your operation successfully. You will find the equipment you require in the rear of the van. Over the last 3 years, pressure has been put on all of the major international courier firms, and all have agreed to stop delivering to malaric research premises within the UK. However, Rapid Track has refused even to meet with members of the Zebra Alliance and continues to make deliveries, which include the transportation of live mice and birds to be used in experiments. In March 2006, Rapid Track even took delivery of a special unmarked van so that it could continue its lucrative trade with Malaric. It is the last reliable courier service available to Malaric Research and one of the core companies that enables it to continue to do business. This operation will make it clear to the Rapid Track management that profiting from animal experiments is unacceptable. Please read the rest of this document carefully, paying particular attention to the sections on leaving behind DNA, fingerprints, and other biometric evidence at the scene, and on the safe destruction of your vehicle. Good luck, the AFA team.